Welcome to the channel, guys. We are back again, and today we're going to be talking about Moonlight in Heaven by Kilian, so stay tuned for that. And if you like the content, guys, hit that like and subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. Moonlight in Heaven by Kilian is an interesting fragrance because it is a summer fragrance that manages to stay away from being overly citrus heavy or aquatic, and for that reason it's one that I definitely wanted to check out. And in fact, I heard that the inspiration for this fragrance was actually a Thai dessert, mango coconut rice, and the inclusion of the rice note is actually quite interesting. So this is one that I really have liked for a while, and I wanted to pick it up, especially now that I have the new presentation. So another awesome thing that Kilian has done is that they have new packaging available. So this is the new packaging, and what I like is that you now have the opportunity to get fragrances without the coffer. And to be quite honest with you, I never really liked the coffer for Moonlight in Heaven, so it's nice to be able to get the fragrance on its own, and of course also for a cheaper price. So this is the box that it comes in without the coffer. So you can see, nice label on top. And inside you get this card, Kilian Paris, and the bottle is all snug inside. Now, another thing that's really cool is that the fresher fragrances, Moonlight in Heaven, Vodka on the Rocks, they all have this blue label now. Now, Moonlight in Heaven always had the blue label, but now the whole fresh line has it as well. And the other thing that I find really aesthetic is that they have put in white inside the letters, as you can see there. Looks absolutely amazing, very aesthetic, very appealing. But the bottle itself is, of course, like other Kilians. You have the Achilles shield on the side, and it is absolutely gorgeous and a refillable. This is actually one of the things I really like about Kilian. They have this really gorgeous refillable bottles. And once you, of course, have the bottle, you can buy a refill and just fill it up from the refill into your own bottle. But even still, I just like these. I think they're very collectible, and the improvements that have happened with the brand, I'm very happy with. I'm really happy that they decided to, again, release these without coffers, and I'm happy that they also made it cheaper than it would be with the coffers. I'm not going to name any brands, but we do know there are certainly brands there that would stop giving you the coffer and charge you the same price. And as far as I'm aware, if you do want the coffers, they are still available. You can buy the coffers by themselves on the website. I don't know all the coffers that are available. I'm not sure the one from Moonlight in Heaven will still be available, but I know a good number of them will be. Anyways, gorgeous packaging, nice gorgeous box, absolutely stunning bottle. Now, what do I get from this fragrance? I'm a little bit surprised actually that this one doesn't have white florals or any florals listed at all, because I actually do get quite a strong burst of florals in the opening. First couple of minutes is heavily dominated by what I smell as a white floral note. Now, that does actually taper down quite a bit, and within the first couple of minutes, as I mentioned, this white floral aspect definitely takes a back seat, and what happens is the rice and the mango takes the center stage. The mango note in this is also amazing, so if you do like mango, I think you'll probably like this fragrance. The mango is very realistic, very juicy, very fresh and alive smelling, and it really is nice and sweet. With that, there is a sort of coconut undertone. I don't get a really strong vibe of coconut, but I do definitely get a hint of that coconut, and it does provide a supporting sweetness along with the tonka bean. But the other note that's actually really interesting, that definitely starts to emerge after those white florals start to dissipate, is the rice note. Now, I think rice should probably be used a little bit more often in fragrance, because I don't know that many fragrances that have rice in it. There certainly are some, but it is still infrequent enough that it's pretty unique. So the rice does definitely come up a lot stronger sitting behind the mango, especially in the opening. It is definitely mango heavy in the opening with supporting rice. And the rice is also sweet, a little bit creamy, and I think that's again mixing with the coconut and the tonka bean. And it really reminds me of like a Korean drink that they have. It's a sweet rice drink, and it's really, really tasty actually. I do really enjoy it, and this is definitely what the rice gives me vibes of. So of course I really enjoy that aspect of it. I do get the grapefruit a little bit in the opening. It does have a citric blast there once the white florals tone down a little bit, but it's not like super strong or anything like that, and it isn't very long lasting within the life of the fragrance, but there is definitely a hint of citrus there. As this one goes into the mid, the white florals are still present, the mango definitely starts to tone down a little bit, and the rice and the coconut definitely become more prominent. And again, that rice note is really beautiful, has a very ricey quality to it. Now in the mid, I do definitely still get some floral aspect. It's kind of light at this point, so it's not nearly as heavy as that initial burst. It's just sort of subtly there in the background, and there is the prominent rice and coconut. As this one dries down, I actually get kind of a musky vibe from this. I know musk is also not listed, and it's not like an ultra clean musk, but there's something about, I think, the coconut, the tonka bean, the rice, that does give sort of a creamy, silky muskiness. And it is actually quite enjoyable, and it does dry down nicely this way. Now, the one thing I will say about this fragrance is that occasionally I do get a bit of like a shampoo or conditioner vibe, and that's always a risk with coconut fragrances, is that it's going to smell like suntan lotion, which this one doesn't, or hair products of some kind, because coconut tends to be used a lot, and I do kind of get that vibe sometimes, but usually this fragrance does stay away from that, so I do like that about it, and it is a fairly unique summer fragrance. Now, interestingly enough, I don't find this one to perform that well in the heat. So it's interesting then that I say it's a summer fragrance, but I think primarily this one is best suited for a summer evening or a spring evening out. This definitely has a little bit of sensuality, a little bit of seductiveness, and a little bit of intrigue to it that I think plays itself well for an evening out fragrance. And it does perform a lot better in the somewhat cool warmth. Now, the performance is absolutely not the most beast mode, so this is one that I do spray more of, but it's not super strong. So I get a good hour to 2 hours of projection, not super strong, and it does definitely tone down to a bubble. Now, it does last a long time. I get usually 8+ hours on my skin, but it is fairly subtle, you know, for the last 3-4 hours of this fragrance. It's still there, but it's definitely something you need to get a little bit closer to smell. I also find that this one is one that I go a little anosmic to, so I will sometimes think that it's gone and then later I'll catch a whiff of it or something like that, or I'll get a comment and I'll be like, oh, okay, it's still there. So this is one that unfortunately it does last, but you don't always smell it. So I, of course, like to smell my fragrances on myself, and it is a little bit of a downside that sometimes I can't smell this on myself. But that being said, I do think it is a nice, well put together, classy night out fragrance for summer by Kilian. And it's also really interesting because it's definitely different from a lot of the other line. Well, it does kind of fit in with the fresher fragrances. It is also quite different from the other fresh fragrances. You know, this doesn't smell anything like Vodka on the Rocks, and it certainly doesn't smell like anything close to Straight to Heaven or Black Phantom or Back to Black or any of those fragrances. So I like that this is a little bit of a step away, a little bit of divergence from a lot of what Kilian does and what he's known for, but it's also done really, really well. So I think in the aspect that he's trying to capture this idea of this Thai dessert, the coconut, mango, rice, I think that's done really well. I get all three of those notes really prominently, and it does blend together to have this somewhat gourmand kind of feel to it, while still being tropical, fresh, uplifting, and really nice for a summer evening out. Anyways, guys, that's it for this one. What's your favorite fresh fragrance from Kilian? Leave a comment down below, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.